Hi, my name is Greg Walden. I started my career in the financial markets in 1984. I'm going into my 42nd year of doing this. I have seen the 40, 50-year, 4 or 5 decade long macro trend that has led us to where we are today. I worked as a futures broker at Lehman Brothers. I was a hedge fund manager for two different firms in New York City. And in 1998, I started my own thing. And it's really interesting in the context of providing independent macro market research for hedge funds, for pension funds, for family offices, for individual investors, something that everyone can use. It was the Money Monitor, and it was Weldon Live, and today it's the Global Macro Strategy Report. But I also had the Metal Monitor, and back in the 90s, that served as Prudential Securities' official precious metals research under the great Kathy Jones. I worked with the legendary John Fallon on the Prudential Bullion desk when Prudential Bullion was one of the biggest operators in the markets. So, my history in the precious metals markets, even though I'm not a metals guy and I'm not a gold bug, goes all the way back for 40 years, at every level of the business. It's interesting because within that context, I'm now a Series 3 registered CTA, commodity trading advisor. We have individually managed accounts. We manage a lot of money. I also still provide independent research. In 2006, I wrote my book, Gold Trading Bootcamp, trying to share my experiences and also to give a glimpse of what the future might look like at the time. If you remember 2006 into 2007, we had a housing crisis. I said that was going to lead to a consumer cocoon, a final demand deflation in the US, which it did. It even, of course, spread to the banks and became a global kind of dynamic, much bigger than even I could have predicted. But I also said in my book that the Fed would be forced to monetize public debt in order to, in using newly printed, newly minted paper dollars to do it, to support the consumer, to support the economy, to keep a debt deflation from happening. Because the debt deflation would be instant, it'd be a collapse, it would be massive pain across the board very quickly, as opposed to what we've done since 1970, kick the can down the road. It's about the debt, and it's about needing the growth to service the debt, or you pancake, and that's a much more painful experience. I said in the book that central bankers, every time peering into a debt deflation abyss, would choose to reflate every time at any cost, and that's exactly what's happened for the last 20 years. But what's really interesting is that in 2008, you had the collapse, the crisis, and the whole dynamic, which then led to that QE, which changed everything. It changed everything. So now you're in this position where when I started a business, gold wasn't even $300, let alone $400, let alone now it's $4,500. I've seen again this entire movie, this 50-year, 5-decade trend of greater debt, greater credit, lower dollar, higher prices for pretty much everything. And in the future, it'll go into hyperdrive. The Fed will be forced to acquiesce to higher inflation to save the consumer again. It's coming. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you how to trade the precious metals, which precious metals to trade, what kind of trader are you, the psychology of trading. This is a guide. This is a how-to. This is a tutorial. It's 12 lesson plans. Say you're taking a semester in school over 12 weeks, you might go to class once every week. And I remember getting my butt out of bed, in the freezing cold at Colgate University to trudge up the hill to go to classes at 8:30 in the morning, which was an ungodly hour then. Now I'm at my desk at 2 or 3 in the morning every day. But the point here is to bring all of this to you, my 42 years of insight, of knowledge, of learning, of making mistakes, the hard knocks school that I attended, and giving you the instincts that I've developed and helping you help yourself weather what's coming next. And this is the way to do it in the precious metals markets. And guess what? 12 lessons coming at you starting now.